Have you ever seen someone laugh at the wrong time? Today, I will tell you a story that shocked a whole country. It is about the day the French ambassador laughed at President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. What happened next will surprise you, and you will want to hear every second of this story. The day started like any other in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. The city was busy. People were selling fruit in the market. Children were running to school, and everyone was talking about one thing, the big meeting at the palace. President Traoré was going to meet the French ambassador. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen. President Traoré was young, but he was not afraid. He was known for being honest and strong. He wanted the best for his people. He wore a simple suit, but he walked with confidence. He knew this meeting was important, not just for him, but for the whole country. The French ambassador arrived in a shiny black car. He wore a suit that looked expensive. He smiled, but it was not a warm smile. He walked into the palace with his head high, looking around as if he owned the place. Some people whispered, "Does he really respect us? Or does he just see us as small?" Inside the palace, the air was cool, but the feeling was tense. The meeting room was big, with a long table and many chairs. Advisors and guards stood around the room, but everyone knew the real talk was between the president and the ambassador. The meeting started with polite words. The ambassador talked about friendship, about help, about the long history between France and Burkina Faso. But President Traoré was not here for small talk. He looked the ambassador in the eye and said, "We want respect. We want to make our own choices. We want to be partners, not followers." The room went silent. The ambassador looked surprised. Then, he did something no one expected. He laughed. It was not a friendly laugh. It was a laugh that said, "You are not serious. You are not important." The sound of that laugh was loud. It made everyone in the room feel small. But President Traoré did not get angry. He did not shout. He did not look away. He sat up straight and spoke in a calm voice. He said, "In Africa, we know that sometimes people laugh because they do not understand. Sometimes they laugh because they are afraid, but we do not let their laughter stop us." The ambassador stopped laughing. He looked at the president, but now he was not so sure of himself. President Traoré continued, "We are not asking for gifts. We are asking for respect. We want to build our own future, with our own hands." The advisors in the room started to nod. Even the guards looked proud. The president's words were simple, but they were strong. The ambassador tried to change the subject. He talked about money, about projects, about security. But President Traoré did not let him escape. He said, "Money is not everything. Projects are not everything. Respect is everything." Outside the palace, the story spread fast. People in the market whispered, "Did you hear?" The president did not get angry. He answered with wisdom. Children played in the street, pretending to be President Traoré, standing tall and not afraid. Old people smiled and said, "This is a leader we can trust." But let's go deeper. After the meeting, President Traoré did not just go back to his office. He walked through the palace gardens, thinking about what had happened. He remembered his childhood, growing up in a small village. He remembered his mother telling him, "Never let anyone make you feel small. You are as important as anyone else." He remembered the old men in the village, sitting under the big tree, telling stories about respect and honor. He thought about the people of Burkina Faso. He thought about the farmers working hard in the fields, the women carrying water from the well, the young people dreaming of a better life. He knew that his words in the meeting were not just for himself. They were for every person in his country who wanted to be respected. Meanwhile, the French ambassador was not happy. He went back to his hotel and called his team. He said, "This president is different. He is not like the others. He does not just say yes to everything. He wants respect." His team was worried. They asked, "What should we do?" The ambassador said, "We must be careful. We cannot treat him like a child. We must listen." The next day, newspapers in Burkina Faso wrote about the meeting. The headlines were bold. "President demands respect. No more laughing at Africa." People read the news and felt proud. They talked about it in the markets, in the buses, and at home. Some people even wrote songs about the president's courage. In the days that followed, President Traoré received many messages. Some were from other African leaders, saying, "Thank you for standing up. You give us hope." Some were from young people, saying, "You make us proud to be from Burkina Faso." Even some people from France wrote letters, saying, "We are sorry for the ambassador's laugh. We want to be true friends." But the story did not end there. President Traoré wanted to show the world that Burkina Faso was ready to stand on its own. He started new projects. He visited schools and hospitals. He talked to farmers and business owners. He listened to their problems and promised to help. He said, "We will build our country together. We do not need to wait for others to help us. We can do it ourselves." One day, President Traoré visited a small village far from the city. The people there were poor, but they were proud. They welcomed him with music and dancing. An old woman came to him and said, "Thank you for speaking for us. Thank you for showing the world that we are not weak." The president smiled and said, "You are the strength of this country. Your hard work is what makes us strong." Back in the city, the French ambassador was thinking. He realized that things were changing. He saw that the people of Burkina Faso were not afraid anymore. They were asking for respect, not just from France, but from everyone. The ambassador decided to visit a local school. He wanted to see the real Burkina Faso, not just a palace. At the school, the children were excited to see a foreign visitor. They showed him their classrooms, their drawings, and their songs. One boy asked, "Why did you laugh at our president?" The ambassador was surprised by the question. He said, "Sometimes adults make mistakes. I am sorry for my laugh. I am here to learn." The teachers thanked the ambassador for coming. They said, "We want our children to grow up with respect, for themselves and for others." The ambassador nodded. He understood now that respect was not just a word. It was something you had to show, every day. Meanwhile, President Traoré was working hard. He met with his team every morning. He asked for ideas to make the country better. He listened to everyone, even the youngest advisor. He said, "No idea is too small. We must work together." He also met with business leaders. He told them, "We must build our own businesses. We must create jobs for our people. We cannot wait for others to do it for us." The business leaders agreed. They started new projects, building roads, schools, and markets. The president also cared about the environment. He started a program to plant trees across the country. He said, "We must protect our land. It is our home. If we take care of it, it will take care of us." People from all over Burkina Faso joined the program. They planted trees in their villages, in their cities, and even in the desert. As the weeks passed, the country began to change. People felt more confident. They walked with their heads high. They spoke with pride. They knew that their president had stood up for them, and they wanted to do the same. One evening, President Traoré was invited to speak on national television. The whole country was watching. He spoke about the meeting with the French ambassador. He said, "That day, I spoke for all of you. I spoke for every person who wants to be respected. We are not less than anyone. We are strong. We are proud. We are Burkina Faso." The people cheered. They felt hope. They felt unity. They felt that they could achieve anything if they worked together. The French ambassador also changed. He started to listen more. He visited more villages. He met with local leaders. He learned about the culture, the food, the music, and the history of Burkina Faso. He realized that respect was not just about words. It was about actions. One day, the ambassador invited President Traoré to a special event at the French embassy. He wanted to show respect. He welcomed the president with traditional music from Burkina Faso. He served local food. He even tried to speak a few words in the local language. The people at the event were surprised and happy. They saw that the ambassador was trying to change. At the event, the ambassador gave a speech. He said, "I made a mistake when I laughed. I did not understand. But now, I see the strength and pride of Burkina Faso. I want to be a true friend." President Traoré smiled and said, "Friendship starts with respect. Let us work together for a better future." The story of the laugh became a story of hope. It became a story that parents told their children at night, a story that teachers shared in classrooms, a story that leaders remembered when they faced difficult times. It became a story that reminded everyone that respect is the most important thing, and that dignity is stronger than any laugh. So, if you ever feel small, if someone laughs at your dreams, remember this story. Remember President Traoré. Remember that you are strong. You are wise. You deserve respect. The spirit of Africa lives in you. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel. We share more stories like this. Stories that inspire. Stories that teach. And stories that make you proud. Hit the like button, share with your friends, and let us know in the comments what you think. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories to you. See you in the next video.